Let's discuss now. CNN senior media correspondent Brian Stelter is here, legal and national security analyst Asha Rangappa, a former FBI special agent, joins me via Skype, and political commentator Jason Miller, a former Trump senior communications advisor. Good evening to all of you. Asha, I'm going to start with you. Today, the FBI Director Wray defended his agency against accusations by Republicans, including the president, that its agents were allowing political bias to seep into their investigations. What's your reaction to what seems to be a concerted effort? It looks like a concerted effort to undermine the FBI and the special counsel's investigation.
I would say that it doesn't recognize what agents go through to get into the FBI. So there's a mnemonic that we used to do background checks in the FBI, and this was actually applied to agents. It's called Carla F. Bad, which stands for character, associates, reputation, loyalty, ability, finances, bias, alcohol, and drugs. So every agent has to be measured against all of those criteria. And bias is one of them. And it's important because any kind of bias, whether it's political, religious, racial, will disqualify an agent from getting in, because the whole idea is that agents need to be able to put aside all of their personal feelings in order to approach cases objectively. And it's a very intensive process. So I would say, this is extreme vetting for FBI agents, and to impugn an entire agency, which is 35,000 people, 14,000 agents, for what appears to be political reasons, I think really does a disservice to the men and women who are out there fighting the good fight and really trying to uphold the Constitution every day.
Brian, there's been a huge rise in anti-Mueller and FBI rhetoric from right-wing media recently. I don't know. I've been paying attention. It's just shocking to watch.
Yeah.
And it's got to be coordinated, because they're all saying the exact same thing. Some of the same people who praised some of the members of the FBI and the FBI not that long ago. Here, watch this.
Mueller is frankly a disgrace to the American justice system and has put the country now on the brink of becoming a banana republic.
The Mueller investigation is illegitimate and corrupt. And Mueller has been using the FBI as a political weapon. And the FBI has become America's secret police. Secret surveillance, wiretapping, intimidation, harassment, and threats. It's like the old KGB that comes for you in the dark of the night, banging through your door.
Mueller's stooges literally are doing everything within their power and then some to try and remove President Trump from office.
Is this a concerted effort, you think, to discredit Mueller?
Yes, and remember, this is what President Trump's watching every morning and every night. That's why I think it matters. He's being told on a daily basis, going back months, but especially right now, they're out to get you. This investigation is bogus. It is out to reverse the election. They're trying to impeach you. And that message over and over and over again, it must have an impact, not just on President Trump, but also on his aides and on his supporters. That's why I think it's so troubling. And I wish Asha could go on Fox and say what she just said, because the problem with shows like Hannity is that we're not hearing the other side. We're not hearing the reality of what it's like inside the FBI.
No, I disagree with you on that. No, I disagree when you said we're not hearing it. We are hearing it.
Yes, I'm sorry,
but Fox viewers are not hearing it. People in Alabama, conservative viewers are not hearing it.
Right, now hopefully they're turning the channel and hearing all sides, but unfortunately too often folks on the left and the right live in bubbles, and right now on the right, that bubble is an alternative reality. It is very intense right now.
It's really weird, and I wondered, and listen, I used to watch Fox all the time, and we would talk about it, and people would ask me, why do you watch Fox so much? I said, well, you need to know what they're doing. I watch everyone.
Right.
And now it's embarrassing.
And if we get to the point where Mueller's fired
or
something happens and we're in a constitutional crisis, it will be partly because of this rhetoric, partly because of this daily drumbeat of anti-Mueller.
But I wonder, do you think they know what a disservice they're doing to the American voting public? And I know they're probably going to play this, and this is not personal. You can play it all day long on Fox and whatever show. It's not personal, but one wonders as a journalist, and some of them are not, some of them are hosts, and they will admit that. I'm not saying anything disparaging.
Right.
But how they can sit there and do such a disservice to the voting public, because we're supposed to be informing people. and they're not.
Yeah, Newt Gingrich is saying there should be an investigation of the investigation 6 months after he praised Mueller. Whether or not they know they're doing a disservice, it is a disservice to the audience. Because after all, Mueller, in the case of this one FBI agent who was removed over the summer, he was removed. He is no longer in the investigation.
Anytime there, and also what I wonder if their viewers realize, anytime there is a whataboutism, when they say, well, what Hillary Clinton, what about this Bill Clinton, whatever, it's like, that you know that is a shiny object, because Hillary Clinton is not president, Bill Clinton is no longer president, and these are different times, especially when it comes to sexual assault and abuse allegations. Even Bill Clinton would not have been.
Actually, Clinton's been replaced finally after 12 months. Robert Mueller is the new boogeyman on Fox News.
Yeah. Okay, Jason, I want to get you in here because do you think the president is taking his cues from the right-wing media, or is it the other way around, or is it sort of a circle or an echo chamber that just keeps going round and round?
Well, Don, this might come as a complete surprise, but I disagree with you in the entire premise
That's
here.
Okay.
During the commercial break, I went and flipped through several of the largest conservative websites, Breitbart, Daily Caller, Newsmax, and I didn't see of any of their top stories a focus on whether it be the FBI or Mueller. They certainly had other stories they were going into. And so the couple of clips that you showed, there were a couple of Hannity clips, and then one of the other telecasters over there at Fox News.
Isn't that kind of proving the point if they're not reporting on this, on the Russian investigation?
But I think there are a couple of things that are completely fair game, and this, even if you go back to, you brought up the Clintons, and so I'll use that as the excuse to go back to Bill Clinton's presidency. But the Clinton White House very much made it a point to go after Ken Starr and folks that were working with him to call out certain ideological leanings and certain political activity.
I think you were on with Paul Begala earlier, if I'm not.
Not tonight, but I have been.
And look, he explained earlier. He explained earlier the difference in that, and I will give you that Democrats are using some of the same. They use some of the same talking points during the Clinton investigation, but it is different. Also, remember, Robert Mueller is a Republican. Ken Starr was a Republican as well. Bill Clinton was a Democratic president. Also, Ken Starr worked for the tobacco industry, which was very anti-Clinton. So it's
Don, you're
not
drifting
the
way
same
off.
thing. No, I'm not. I'm just trying to. No, it's facts. I'm giving you facts.
Ken Starr in the tobacco industry. Come on, let's reel it back in. Let's get back to this point here for a minute. So the point that I was getting to is, if you want to go through and raise an issue with, say, for the fact that someone has sent a bunch of text messages that are anti-Trump, I think that is very fair grounds for removing them, and I think
that is a fair
good
point.
job by Director Mueller to go ahead. And that's what I was doing. I was giving him credit for going and doing that. I think that's a very fair point. I think if someone has maxed out, whether it be to Secretary Clinton or to President Trump, I think that is very fair to raise that issue and say, wait a minute, this person has contributed $2,700 or $5,400. I think that's a fair point of criticism. Now, I think there's one thing that's going on here also, and that's the fact that last year under Director Comey, I think the FBI, at least in the eyes of the American public, really became highly politicized. And I think some of Comey's actions really kind of cast a shadow over a lot of the hardworking men and women at the FBI. I have a number of friends who work at the FBI and who really check their political allegiances
what does that have to do with
at the
now
door.
and Bob Mueller?
Because what I'm saying is the point that I think it's very fair if folks want to go and make sure that the people who are part of these investigating teams are in fact playing it very nonpartisan. I think that's a very fair point.
I don't think anyone will disagree with that. That's corrupt. Thank you.
That's different from saying it's illegitimate.
And saying that the FBI
Fox is
in
spreading
tatters.
Poison, Jason. You know that. You're aware of that.
Yeah, I got. Listen,
but you're making it sound like there's some. You're making it sound like there's some kind of conservative bat signal that's being shot into the sky. And there's some,
yeah, it's called
conspiracy.
satellite or a telephone or a text message or an email. Come on, Jason.
No, Don, you're being. I mean, this is the kind of stuff.
Listen, I got to say, how else would you get? How else would the deep state get in touch with each other if they didn't send out back?
Well,
then
how come why are none of the conservative websites?